With every client, we like to start with 3 words that would describe how they'd like their home to feel. We call those emotive descriptors, and for us it's a key part of the design process. Because the way a home feels is our best clue in terms of how we can approach the design of that home. For me, it's a way of testing how the house itself will function, will work, and will make them feel at the end of the day. Our clients asked for a home that is calm, fresh, and welcoming. And with those 3 words in mind, very often you'll have calm and fresh, and that will bring ideas to mind. But when it's welcoming, then you know that you need to make this place a home that is comfortable for 2 people, but also comfortable for 22 people. And that was an interesting challenge for us in the way that we approached the layout of this house, how the rooms interacted, and how we were able to create spaces that could expand and contract. Hi, my name is Jeffrey Douglas from Douglas Design Studio, and welcome to our Curvilinear Home. When you walk into this home, the first thing you see is this sweeping staircase with light drawn in from a big skylight from above. And it has this calm, this elegance, and this optimism and this freshness. This element was the reason why we wanted to introduce more curves within the space. So we basically built this house around the staircase. From this point, the whole house flows. From the entrance foyer and the beautiful new stone that's there, you enter into a study that has this 10-foot tall bifold door that can close it off or open it up. We wanted it to have contrast, a bit of energy, a bit of richness, and wanted this room to feel very much bespoke, very much unique, and very much its own character. To the right of the staircase is the living room, which is a graceful, elegant, proportioned room. We chose to do a combed plaster finish done by Anthony Vallen's studio. And that was just enough. The same wall color throughout the whole house, but within this room, it changes to this very soft texture that catches light beautifully. The fireplace was done in brushed stainless steel, and we thought that's just the perfect offset for this space. Those warm tones with the coolness of the stainless steel. We balanced that by 2 custom-made consoles on either side in this rather warm lacewood color. To me, this room has a lovely, warm, lived-in grace for such a newly finished room. So the dining room space we approached with a combination of rectilinear lines and soft curving lines, and created rectilinear panels on the walls that conceal up to 20 linear feet, floor to ceiling, of storage. The light fixture overhead by Gioppato & Coombs from Italy is the most beautiful cloud sort of formation. Soft glass, glows beautifully, and it sort of elevates the space and creates this lightness to it. The relationship between the dining room and the family room was important because the movement back and forth between those spaces needs to be seamless. So we installed a very wide, very high, sliding stainless steel framed ribbed glass door that integrates the 2 spaces. It's a very heavy door, 600 pounds. The track itself is engineered to receive the weight, to operate so that you just use 1 finger to open. It may be very heavy, but in the space, the experience of the door is very light. It's a lovely way to make such an element like that operate so easily and so well within the space. As you pass from the dining room into the family room, you enter into another space. The wall behind me, which is the back side of the dining room cabinetry, we chose to panel in wood. The fireplace has a beautiful limestone that has these lovely blushy blues and browns. We use that to reflect in the furniture and the furnishings within the space. breakfast room has this armoire piece at the very end. It's basically floor to ceiling, and it looks as if you've got storage on either side. What we have on one side is a duct that runs from the basement to the second floor for heating and ventilation that was required in that part of the house. But what we did was we framed out a space, and we have in the center of that this beautiful painting by Millie Ristved, a wonderful Canadian artist. It just gave it a lovely lightness and a bit of color and freshness within the space. It's a very, very bright and optimistic and fresh space. It has a large 12-foot by 10-foot skylight above it, which draws all kinds of light into the back of the house. The kitchen started with the stone. One of my favorite stones is called Sky White, and it has this beautiful combination of soft, warm tones as well as cooler tones, and it's got this lightness and airiness about it, and yet it's very, very strong. And so to underscore the beauty of the stone, we reflected that in the color of the cabinets, and we were very careful to make sure that we had an upper line of drawers throughout the kitchen so it felt unified, and balanced it with polished stainless steel frames with ribbed glass in the upper cabinets so that they don't feel dense, so that the space feels open and reflective and reflects the light from the breakfast room. The island itself, in order to move around it easily, we decided to round one end, again echoing the curves that are so evident in this house. In order to maintain more storage, we have a very simple sort of touch latch, curved doors on either end, just to be able to use quietly and easily some storage at the end of the island. We needed a space for the powder room, and the only location that made sense was in that space between the dining room and the foyer. So we cleverly concealed it inside a curved wall that created a symmetrical couple of curves on either side of that beautiful staircase in the foyer. And we seamlessly integrated it so that you couldn't see that it was actually a powder room. You're surprised when you open up this door. It's a secret door, which is always fun. Every home should have a secret. One of the challenges of the primary bedroom was that in the very corner of the empty room, there was a stack for the furnace that went up in the corner, and it was essential to keep that. So what we needed to do was to create a false cabinet on the other side that looks the same, that opens and can be used for storage, but is designed in such a way that it's completely concealed. And what that created was a space in between that we were able to use to be able to slide the bed in and create a kind of a niche. The center part was upholstered with ribbed upholstery, framed on the side with polished stainless steel with this beautifully sweet integrated pop-out reading light. So you can just pop it in so it feels very clean and seamless. We didn't want to look at a television. We had about 8 inches of extra depth within the wall. And so we used that depth in order to put a television. Now what we see is a niche with a painting in, but the bottom of the niche flips open and the television will pop up and then can pop down again. It's such a lovely way to integrate and to be able to use the spaces that are there creatively so that we can hide elements that we don't want to see and highlight the elements that we do want to see. In every primary ensuite, the bathtub is a focal point. And in this primary ensuite, we chose to do a tub that was built in, but built away from the architecture, but done in such a way that it integrates with the design of the room. So we used a stone base and a stone frame on top, but built it in a clean, elegant way so it feels grounded but light at the same time. I think when you enter into her primary ensuite, the first thing you think of is freshness, femininity, softness. I feel this room is like a private sanctuary, a retreat from the rest of the world. The primary dressing room is this symphony of linear lines. It's a very, very enveloping kind of comfortable space. The island itself is very, very long and very linear. And to break it up, what we did was we actually curved the two ends to make it softer and to make it easy to move around. As well, we curved the inner line to a bench in the center so that you had a place to sit down from one side or the other. And also the storage in that island is designed in such a way that you have drawers from one side and then drawers from the other. And so it's got this duality, this functionality, this ease of moving around. his primary ensuite is a really cool kind of functional. We thought of it almost like a little ship with both polished stainless steel and brushed stainless steel mixed with this incredibly beautiful linear stone that looks as if light is reflecting off of water. This house has 4 other bedrooms that have been designed to be welcoming, soft, comfortable places for guests or grandkids or kids visiting from another country that are living somewhere else and need a place to stay when they're in Toronto. Recently, I had a conversation with our client. She said that this house feels like a hug. And I thought that's a beautiful way to describe it, a hug. Maybe it's the curving lines, maybe it's the flow. Maybe it's those 3 emotive descriptors we talked about at the very beginning of the project, of it being calm, about being fresh, about being welcoming. Or maybe it's a combination of those things. But it made me feel so happy to know that this house hugs them.